In this country, youth often ask themselves what difference they can make. In an often hard and difficult life, without sight of avenues and opportunities, the question of the greater good and how to be positively engaged is often lost. And the conclusion most young people come to is that one person cannot make a difference. Then again, these are not stories of most people. These are stories of extraordinary young individuals who have demonstrated the difference one person can make. Who have demonstrated that, yes, individuals can make a difference. This is Imran Shahzeb, a student of Bahauddin Zakaria University in Multan. He gets on his bike and travels from village to village and town to town to speak with community members about how to exercise their democratic rights. What inspires him to do that day in and day out? Meet Javeria, a young student from Lasbela, Balochistan. She overcomes the barriers of a patriarchal society in a challenging atmosphere. She makes her way into crowded bus stations and public transport vehicles to engage with commuters to inform them on how their government functions. The vast majority of commuters with whom Javeria engages are male and not accustomed to a woman publicly engaging with them. What gives her this courage? Saddam Hussain is a student of Peshawar University. Out of his own accord, makes visits to engage with marginalized groups of society to enable them to make informed choices for their future. What motivates him to reach out to these groups? Bisma Noor, a student of University of Sindh in Jamshoro, makes time to visit remote locations of interior Sindh to hold community awareness sessions on the significance of women's political participation. What pushes her to travel to these far-off villages? Imran Shahzeb understands that a democratic society derives its strength from the electoral process, and in order to truly strengthen it, he has made it a mission to educate members of his community about Pakistan's electoral processes and their rights under a democracy. In Multan, Imran visited a rural village and held a mock polling exercise with local farmers to train them on the polling process. He informed them on how to correctly fold and stamp the ballot papers for the candidate of their choice, while also introducing them to the importance of women's participation and the need for women to obtain their national identity cards for their ability to vote. Javeria symbolizes women's empowerment in a conservative society, initiating a very bold and innovative approach. Standing in a local transport bus in Lasbela, Javeria delivered an awareness session to the passengers on active citizen engagement and the correlation and importance of voting in a democracy, including what the government is and how it works at the federal, provincial and local levels. Javeria takes it as her national duty and feels satisfaction over informing people on what they did not know before. Saddam Hussain knows that every single vote can make a difference. He has made it his mission to promote an inclusive democratic culture, not only for the people he is reaching, but for society and the country at large. Saddam promotes that it is in the interest of the country that minorities actively participate in Pakistan's government structures. In this awareness session, in anticipation of local government elections, Saddam engaged members of the local Christian community of Peshawar to emphasize the importance of the local government system in strengthening democracy at the grassroots level. And likewise, Bisma Noor understands that women's political and electoral participation is essential to promoting gender equality in the electoral process. Bisma spreads awareness among men and women of rural villages on obtaining their national identity cards and guides them through the process. She succeeded in getting many young women to obtain their national identity cards in remote villages of Sindh. By doing so, Bisma is complementing the Election Commission of Pakistan's Women's National Identity Card and Voter Registration campaign. These are United Nations Civic Education Youth Volunteers. These individuals represent a small portion of the United Nations Civic Education Youth Volunteers working across Pakistan to promote civic literacy and women's engagement. They are not just role models for their communities. Each one of them represents the strongest element of collective action that happens to be the power of one.
My name is Athar Iqbal. I was one of the first United Nations Civic Education volunteers. I am proud to now work with the United Nations Development Programme and United Nations volunteers in supporting these and many other volunteers with this important initiative. With one of the largest youth populations in the world, this program was created to engage Pakistan's youth in promoting civic literacy and greater inclusion in the democratic processes, in addition to promoting volunteerism. Through brief civic and voter information sessions targeting women, youth, minorities, and rural communities, these volunteers represent the power that one individual can make in people's lives. To inspire a woman to obtain her national identity card and register to vote, to get a fellow student engaged in civic activism, or to raise a farmer's awareness regarding his rights. Collectively, these volunteers are agents of change and inspire Pakistan to be more inclusive, accountable, and democratic. The stories of these volunteers have inspired me and countless others to get involved with their communities and participate as active citizens of Pakistan. I hope that these stories will move you to become active citizens as well. Pakistan Zindabad.
The power of one. In a world where awareness is key, knowledge is strength, and change is hoped for, the one question that always arises is, what can one person do? One person can take it upon him or herself to bring upon the change that is required. One person who has the will to step out of their comfort zones can step into a zone of power. This program has proven that the actual power of one can empower people to make a difference in their lives, resulting in strong community development and increased civic engagement within the country day by day. This program is spreading its wings and covering all parts of the country, initiating a wave of civic education and social mobilization as is the need of the hour. With every day that passes, the power of one increases and reaches out, spreading awareness, increasing social mobilization, and making sure every individual is aware of their fundamental democratic rights for a collective and positive action that intends to carry on till we are all one, all involved, and not relying on anyone.